I'm here, Matt, with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Eric, Blind Memory lead singer, Twitcher, all round sexy man.
Buongiorno,
so
buongiorno, buongiorno.
it's nice.
How's everybody doing?
How's everybody in chat? Yes, that is good. So, like I said, man, thank you for saying yes, obviously, to get on here.
Yeah, well, thank you for inviting me.
So, not a problem, man. So, we're going to talk about a couple of stuff. Like I said, we got a couple of questions. He cheated, by the way. Like I turned around to him and said, "We got plenty of questions that we can ask you." He's been lurking and spying on
Yeah,
us.
I'm stalking. I need to be prepared, you know. I need to be prepared for anything you will throw at me.
So we're going to talk
Hey
about some stuff.
Liam, hey Aaron, hey fellow Swedish Eric.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
now I can say hey to Aaron because nobody could hear me before. Hey Jens, who didn't say hey Heavy, Mr. Good.
Hell yeah, my man. But anybody watching this on YouTube on the playback who might not know who you are, if you could describe yourself, and that'd be awesome.
Okay, well, my name is Eric, as you could probably tell from the stream title. I'm a musician. I play the band called Blighted Memory from Latvia, which is a small country in Northern Europe. We've been a band for, oh my God, I don't want to say this number, 12 years already. Holy shit.
Wow.
It's been quite a while. It's been quite a while.
So that's a massively long time, my man.
Yep.
So I mean, so let's go back to the beginning then. Not too far to the beginning. Nobody wants to know how you were conceived, or maybe they do. I don't know.
I'm not sure I'm ready to tell. I'm not sure.
But how did that come about, man? Was that something you did as like a first try, or were you always kind of like into music at a young age?
Well, when I was like a little kid, like, my grandma, she was a professional piano player.
Mm.
So I was kind of connected to music since childhood, but I was always into football. So I will like, when I was offered by my parents to go like to the music school, like, nah, why football? Let's go. I'm gonna be a professional football player. But after some injuries, it didn't really work out. I think I was around 13 back then, and then I switched to music.
Yeah. So what kind of genres did you first kind of got you into? Was it metal from the off, or did you get brought up on other
The
stuff
first
first?
ever music, so basically, when I was on the first year of college, me and my classmate, we started a rap band. A lot of people are like, "What? You're a metal musician. You started a rap band? How? What? Why? Why you do this?" But yeah, like and my first experience with music, so basically like I had no idea. I didn't play any instrument back then. I was like, okay, I don't want to rap over like someone else's beats. I want to try to make my own. So like I started to get to know some DAWs. Like my first ever one was FL Studio
Mm.
that I'm still actually using by this day. So it's been like for how long? Almost 17 years that I've been using this tool. So
Wow.
yeah, basically I started using FL Studio, started making. If I will find my old demos right now and they still exist somewhere on my hard drives, I would be like, please no. The world is not ready. It will never be ready to hear that shit. But yeah, basically, we like, even at that time, I was like, since I don't know, I think since the release of Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park, I started getting like more and more into this kind of music, like a little bit heavier. So like Linkin Park, Rammstein, bands like this. Then it kind of started going like 3 Days Grace, then into pop punk, Offspring, Blink, Sum 41. Then I started going into a little bit heavier genres when I got to know Bullet for My Valentine, Trivium, As I Lay Dying, bands like that. And
Yeah.
basically, so yeah, I think my mom bought me a guitar when I was like 16 or 17, something like this. So I started to learn how to play guitar. And so, yeah, I think it was the year 2008. 8 when I started my first punk band, and as well, the demo still exists somewhere. We haven't played a single show, but yeah, I'm never gonna show that to anyone. Never
Or
fucking ever.
that's gonna
Never fucking ever.
that's gonna be me
Those
bugging
demos,
you now to show it. You've got to show it now.
no, I don't even know where they are. Luckily, I know there should be somewhere, but like I had so many hard drives over the years. I don't know where they are. What's up, Paul? How's it going?
So what kind of music were you listening to then? Obviously, when you made the rap band, like what was your influences at the time before you obviously found out about metal?
Well, like I always liked Eminem,
Mm,
so probably that was like the. I still listen to Eminem like even now, but
yeah,
like the older albums, like Marshall Mathers LP, all that stuff.
yeah. So
So that
when does it hit where you were? Oh, you obviously established blinded memory and stuff like that. I've been listening to some of the songs literally in preparation, and I've got to say, man, some of the tracks are absolutely banging. I've been really really enjoying it. So
Yeah, well, with Blood and Memory, funny thing, if you would tell me when I was like 16, 17 that I would be like extreme metal singer, I'd be like, nah, that's not music, that's not vocals, that's like noise. What do you mean? I will not do that shit. What what the fuck? Nah, never. But time goes and tastes change. So basically another funny story how my whole extreme vocal thing started. I think I did tell the story a couple times. So basically before Blinded Memory, what's up Skydot, I had a band. We were playing something like alternative rock with a girl on the vocals, and we were covering, bear with me, Nickelback, How You Remind Me. So and like
Nickelback gets a lot of flack, but I personally love Nickelback.
yeah, I love Nickelback as well. But people like, ooh, Nickelback, and quit the stream. Fuck this, fuck this dude. Why do you invite him, Neon? Yeah. So basically, and like I was playing guitar. Like I was playing, and then at some point, I don't remember why I was bored at that point. So I started growling along. I didn't knew shit about growling. Like that was basically, and we had a like one of our friends at that rehearsal. So they were like, "Dude, what are you doing? Why you do this? Stop! That sounds awful." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just having fun. Shut up."
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, I started doing it. They're like, maybe we could somehow incorporate it into our music. So like I started. I wasn't like really practicing that. Just basically like practicing at rehearsals, like
Yeah.
only not doing like any exercises at home or something. Thorsten, thank you so much for the raid. So
Welcome
yeah.
for the raid. Thank you very much, my man. Thank you for the raid. I very much appreciate that and welcome. So when you obviously when you started doing that, did you have any problems or anything like that when you first did it, or was it just did it come natural to you? Did you like?
Well, I was basically like I didn't knew shit how to do it. I was like,
Mm,
well, pretty much I could say blowing up my voice on every rehearsal
mm,
because like I was literally coming back home from the rehearsal with a sore throat and like, well, maybe it is supposed to be like this. And then, like, so basically, like, one of the reasons why I started Blind of Memory.
mm.
Hey, Lena. One of the reasons was like we had with that previous band before Blood of Memory, we had constant problems with vocalists.
Yeah.
So like we had a dude that was a vocalist at some point, then he basically just disappeared. Then we had a girl that decided to like she sang with us for probably like 3 or 4 months, and then she decided to move to study and live in UK. So we're like and that was like a real problem to find a vocalist that would be actually like capable of like singing. So like at some point we broke up. We're like, okay, you want something done right, you do it yourself. I'm gonna start a metal band and I will be singing, so we will not be like need to find a vocalist every single time. We will not have that problem. So it was like basically this is how it all started for me and how it all started for Blind and Memory.
Wow, bloody hell. So basically, you were third choice then. As
Yeah,
a
well, I was literally tired because I was like, okay, searching for a vocalist again.
yeah, no, I
Nah,
feel that.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. So obviously when that happened, then and obviously you cemented your place as the lead singer. I mean, what happened? What happened then? Did you find yourself getting traction for shows and stuff like that, or did that come a lot easier during that time, or is that something you really had to work for?
Well, back in 2010, like, there were like basically, I don't know like about other countries, but here in Latvia, the culture like of shows in general, there were way more shows happening basically like, almost every weekend someone was playing somewhere. There were more venues as well. So like getting a gig, that was like there were certain places where you were like, oh my god, I really want to, like, we have one venue that is like translated to English, it's called Black Friday. There's like a pretty legendary place, like probably the main underground metal venue in Riga.
Yeah,
Yeah, so basically everybody wanted to play there. And like back then it was like, oh my, like how do we even get there, like because like yeah, I think the capacity back then was around like 600 people. Then they lowered it to like 400, 450, something like this.
yeah. So
Yeah.
wow. So that seems amazing. So you go from being a guitarist to the main singer to going and playing in front of like 400, 600 people on a regular basis. That
Well, like like local shows, they don't really gather. Like, we don't have that much people. Like, how many people we have living in Latvia? Like 1.5 million, probably
yeah,
max. So, like, obviously, when like foreign bands were coming to Latvia, then there was like full house and all that shit. But for local gigs, getting like a full house in Black Friday, that was like nearly impossible. Probably if there would be like there is like one almost annual. Well, it was annual back in the days until the COVID started. So like every year there was a festival called Interfaith that was happening, and
yeah,
it was actually always gathering a lot of people, like 400, 500 all the time. Like the venue was packed. But also like getting to play that festival, it wasn't that easy. So like, if you were actually getting there, because like, oh my, like I'm getting like a real gig now in front of a shitload of people.
was there any other moments when you were part of the band where you were like, oh my god, is this happening right now? Like, was there any moments where you kind of looked at them and went, holy crap, this is happening?
Well, I think the first time when we played Black Friday, it was actually a pretty fun thing how we got there. So basically, they were organizing a gig called The Best of Latvia Metalcore. And at that time, we were a band basically. Well, we started in January, the gig was in December.
Yeah,
So we're obviously far away from being a part of the Best of Latvia Metalcore because we're not really known at all at that point.
yeah,
So, and I was like, I kind of want to play, like, like it doesn't hurt to ask. So
mm,
I messaged the venue, like, is it possible to get on the bill? Hello, Mr. Mitch. How are you doing? So yeah, I was like, is it possible to get on the bill? They're like, yeah, right to this dude. So I wrote to him, like, yeah, the venue told us that you want to play. So like, sure, you can play. I was like, okay, awesome, thanks. That I was like, really? Are we actually gonna play? Even though like we were playing, I think it was around 3 a.m.
yeah,
And the difference between playing at 3 a.m. Right now and playing at 3 a.m. back then is huge. Like right now, if you would play at 3 a.m., you would probably play to the light guy, the sound tech, and maybe a few drunk people sleeping in the back. Back then, at 3 a.m., we had at least like 30 or 40 drunk people, like really moshing in front of the stage. Like, for like the caliber of like a 450 size venue, 40 people is not that much. But when you're playing for your first ever year, like, oh my God, we're playing at 3 a.m. and they're actual people and they're actually going crazy to our shit. Like,
Yeah.
that felt pretty epic.
Oh, nice, man. When it comes to obviously making the songs and stuff like that, like who had head point on that? Was it like one person who kind of wrote them and all came together, or was it like a joint effort between you and the other guys in the band?
Well, back in the days, I was writing everything except for solos because, like, I'm not a lead guitarist. So solos were like written by our lead guitarist
Yeah,
at that point. So basically, yeah, like I was writing the riffs, I was building the structure, and then he was basically like riffing the solo on top of it. But there were probably two or three songs that were not written by me that like basically were written by the other guys.
yeah. So, all right, okay. So it was kind of like a joint effort in a little bit of a way there. Did you have any like
Yeah.
disagreements a little bit like over the solos or anything like that? Was it like, or did they when they guys came to you with something and was like, this is my solo? Was it quite easy to incorporate that into songs, or was there any like sort of disagreements
No, we
there?
didn't really like with the solos because like Blood, the dude that was writing all the solos
Mm,
for our first record,
yeah,
and I I think even though I think the first solos by written by Vitali are other guitarists, so basically it was kind of like a joint effort of them both. But like they were writing pretty sick solos, so like we never had like any disagreements about that. I'm like I could say like maybe try like try to add some tapping here,
mm,
or like some kind of like a faster solo or a slower solo.
yeah.
So yeah, so like it was coming along pretty nicely all the time.
For me personally, though, I've got to ask because, like I said, I've been
Mhm.
listening to a lot of your stuff over the weekend, stuff like that, and I've really enjoyed it. But who did the simps in Insane, by the way? Because the starting of that song is absolutely amazing, and I freaking love it.
Who did what?
The
You
simps
got it.
and
The synth? Oh, I was doing the synths like always.
always because literally for
Yeah.
that song insane it's amazing. I love it. I freaking love the intro to that as it goes into the guitar. It's so good.
And thank you. Actually, funny thing that synth line was originally written on guitar.
Really.
So like I wrote it on guitar and then I just transposed it to FL Studio and basically made it like the guitar became synth.
Yeah. That line is so good. I've listened to that song so many times. People that know me for like the reactions and stuff. There's three things I absolutely just love: a good bass riff, some violins, and some synth. Man, you put them in a metal song, and for me,
Well, yeah,
I
I
go I
love.
gush over it.
Yeah, I also love the mix with actual like classical instruments and metal.
Yeah,
We actually have a few of those on the upcoming album because yeah, I absolutely love that shit.
yeah.
It always sounds amazing.
Oh, nice. Well, you lead me to my next question and upcoming
Mhm.
album. So, what's in the future for you guys?
Well, currently I am pretty much a one-man band because my guitarist he is overwhelmed with work right now. So like he can't really like devote time to the band because like when you're working from like 6 a.m. to 7 8 p.m. when you get home you're not thinking about like making music like sleep and that's it. That's the only thing you can probably possibly think about, and I can absolutely understand him on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so basically, like I'm gonna carry on working along. Probably, like one thing I really like, technically we already have like sort of gigs happening, like limited capacity.
Mm,
Some of them are seated, but like they're happening. And like since the last gig we've played was in September 2020,
yeah.
right before we got second lockdown. So like I kind of missed the stage, I must say,
I was gonna
like a
say,
lot.
is that something you're looking forward to? Are you nervous at all about going back and gigging again, or is it just like, oh man, I just want to be back out there?
No, I want to go back like crazy because like
Yeah. So is that like
gig.
for going back off obviously for these shows? Is it like a full formation of the band again, or is there going to be like a few new people then?
Well, we were like a three-piece since 2017, so
Mm,
basically like since Misha's got to be like out of everything for a while,
mm,
probably like I need a drummer and I need a guitarist, and that's pretty much it.
yeah. So fair enough. But I'm excited that you're getting back and touring and stuff like that, dude. Like I said before, when you mentioned before about like an album or anything like that, or even just a single, are you guys planning on recording anything, or have you recorded anything over obviously lockdown and stuff like that now? Because obviously you've not been gigging for a while.
Yeah, well, like I wrote quite a lot of songs, and like the last time we were talking with Misha, so that was actually a little bit of I could probably say even a problem, like a slight problem, that the new stuff is quite different from the old stuff, and
Mm,
like I wasn't really like 100% sure how like they will sound mixed together. So it's basically like one era and and another one.
yeah. So
So I was like,
is there any like personal favorite songs that you really really enjoy playing more than others?
Like you mean from the new ones or from the like the ones that we were already playing live?
Just any. Yeah, you can do old, new, anything like that. Anything that like really sticks out that you like really enjoy playing.
Well, we'd say it is always fun to play live. Takeover from our 2013 EPs, like always was one of my ultimate favorites to play
Oh,
live.
I
A
love
few
the
from
I love the breakdown in Takeover near the end. That's so it's again so good. I've been listening to a hell of a lot of you from you guys
I'm
leading
glad.
up to this, and I've and
Yeah, and
I've
there are a few from the newest songs that we already played live, and I'm often playing them during the intermissions on my streams.
yeah,
So like they're like absolutely
yeah, man,
always fun to play live.
for sure. Probably on the reverse of that, is there a song that sometimes you've made that you play that you don't enjoy playing, or has that never been the case?
Honestly, the songs that I don't really enjoy playing, we no longer play them live.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so it's kind of easy, like when you get more songs that basically you got stuff to choose from.
Mm,
But yeah, but for example, for me, it is Hypocrite from our 2013 EP, and I was quite surprised, when I was meeting new people on Switch, like, oh my god, Hypocrite is such an amazing song. Like, really? You like it over Takeover? I was
mm.
like, oh well,
Yeah,
maybe I just overplayed it a little bit because like we've been playing it a lot back in the days.
yeah. So that sort of makes sense. I imagine obviously the good thing about playing music is you can play like a variety and stuff like that. The thing will probably be in a band. Does it ever get boring to play the same song all the time?
Hmm? Not really, like because like usually you don't get the thing like when the song gets boring. Like for
Mm.
example, we still play a song called "The Downfall" that were released in 2011,
Yeah.
and like of course I tweaked it a little bit. Like back in the days it was like guitars, purely only guitars. Then like right now when we came back in 2017 and like switched our genre from melodic metalcore to electronicore,
Mm.
then like obviously like I added like I basically switched most of the lead guitars to synths,
Yeah.
so like it would sound a little bit more fresh.
Is is
And I
is
don't know, that song is like for some reason that song like we've been playing it for ages and I never get tired of it.
Yeah. There's some songs that just honest to God probably just like really really stick into your mind and it's just hard to shake, I suppose. I like I said, man, I've been absolutely loving some of the tunes that I've been listening to. Obviously, I've heard quite a bit from obviously being in your streams, but it was nice to kind
Yeah.
of to go onto YouTube, and I've been binging the hell out of some tunes, man. I gotta say, I've been really enjoying it. Like some of the stuff that I've heard is right up my alley. So I'm really looking forward to binging some more of your new stuff, like as soon as possible.
Mm. Oh yeah, like I've been waiting to release new stuff for I can technically say for years because it's taking way longer than I would want, to be honest.
Yeah. But in that meantime, though, you have kept yourself busy now. I mean, you're a fairly respectable streamer now as well. In the gap, obviously between the
Thank
bands
you,
and
sir.
stuff. Everybody comes, everybody enjoys and stuff what you do, and it's a hell of a good time with music and stuff like that. Is that something obviously you'll carry on as obviously doing some stuff with the band as well in the future?
Yeah, like we actually already, I think we streamed two or three of our gigs on Twitch before
Mm.
all the COVID. And we actually in September, like our last gig, we streamed it on Twitch as well.
Yeah. You beat me to my own question now. I was literally going to ask you. Are we going to see some live shows on the channel?
Yeah, so and we actually in April last year we did like a specific live Twitch show
Mm.
as a duo from our rehearsal studio, which was also like a pretty unique experience and a pretty fun thing to do because I think it was even more unique for Misha than for me because like he is pretty far away from Twitch or like streaming in general.
Mm.
So like it's like for many people that are like not familiar with streaming, like how can you talk to your computer screen for 4 hours? I was like, well, you kind of get used to it like with experience, but like I think first it was kind of weird for everyone, like okay, so I'm supposed to sit and talk to myself for like a couple hours and like and be entertaining at the same time. Like how can I make that happen? Like I was little, like I can remember like when I was just starting streaming, like I think one of like my most like memorable moments when I was playing God of War for 2 hours with absolutely zero people in the chat. And I'm like, okay, I should probably keep talking. Like, what am I supposed to do?
So
Actually,
I
I've seen a
remember
few
those days.
yeah, I've seen a few questions in the chat. We were actually supposed to have a European tour in 2000, yeah, in April 2020. Like we're supposed to play in Poland, in Germany, in Czech Republic. I think we're even like talking something about Slovakia
Mm.
or Slovenia. I don't really remember. So basically that area. But obviously, it all went down the drain. And actually, we're supposed to play in UK once as well.
Oh mate, you need to
But
come to
but
UK so I can watch you.
but yeah, well, there was a different thing. It's basically a promoter fucked us up. Like he said he's gonna book us a tour. There was one gig booked, and then he suddenly stops responding. And then the girl from the venue messages me like, so like, are you coming for a gig? I'm like, well, like I can't get in touch with the promoter for almost a month, so I guess not because coming to UK for one gig is kind of expensive.
Yeah, for sure. So is there any plans again to maybe make up for that and do the whole touring experience? Maybe try and play a few shows in the
Well,
UK
I
and
would
stuff.
love to, but like no, right now I'm not like trying to look that much far into the future. Like even playing one gig in my hometown would be good enough for me at this point.
Yeah.
But in
So
general, of course, I would love to like, go back to the places where we've been, where we've never been.
yeah.
This is for me. This is one of the most amazing, parts in music when you actually, there are many countries I don't think I would ever visit if not for music. Like, I don't think I would ever go to Finland. I don't think. I would go like specifically to Poland, and, like see stuff there if we wouldn't be touring.
Yeah,
Because like I never were in those countries before we went to play shows there.
yeah. What was your favorite place? Like, what was the country you enjoyed the most going to play?
Probably I would say Finland because like Finland is it's quite different, like like the whole experience, how the venue treats you, like the venue stuff, like when you're coming, you're absolutely unknown band to these people, and they treat you like you're fucking Metallica. So like literally, like with respect, helping with everything, like here it's not possible. Like, yeah, you, who the fuck are you? Go do your own shit. Like, we don't care. We don't care about you. Do whatever the fuck you want. Play the gig. Get out.
Yeah, but Finland.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
but
notorious for loving, just absolutely loving metal. Anyway, it's a different culture over there.
yeah,
Um,
it's absolutely like so much different. So like when we came back from Finland the first time, I was like, holy shit, this is so. This is how like how big bands probably feel when they're playing gigs. Like because here like probably the most to show the difference. For example, a promoter invites you to a gig, you're asking for a payment. They're like, "What? You expect to get paid? You can have some beers." I like, "Yeah, thank you. I'm not sweaty anymore."
so, do you still get that buzz after a gig?
What kind of buzz?
So some people do it in different ways. Some people are energetic; they feel wide awake after a show, or some people feel
Oh yeah.
drained. Yeah.
Whoa, like of course after the show adrenaline's buzzing, like even though when on tour, usually even with all the adrenaline buzzing, you still like fall asleep pretty quickly because you understand that you actually have like a gig to play on the next day, so you need to get some rest.
Hmm.
Because like for example, I actually remember when we did our tour, I think it was in 2014 when we played the Baltics and Poland. So when we were playing in Estonia, in Tallinn, like after, so basically I came there with pretty much a little bit sore throat already, so like a little bit sick.
Yeah.
And I was literally, so we didn't have a hotel booked in Estonia. So basically the venue promoter, he invited us to stay at the venue because they basically had like a room with some couches where like, where you can sleep. And in the end, my bandmates went to sleep, and me and the promoter we stayed up till like 4 a.m. drinking tea, talking about life and all stuff. Yeah, that was pretty fun. But actually, on the next day, I felt pretty good, so the tea actually worked.
So that's why as Brits drink it. Tea, it's magical.
Yep,
So, um,
absolutely.
so is there any other bands that you've seen play, which kind of really took your breath away, either with
Mm,
on the same stage or live yourselves?
Well, as a viewer, that would definitely be like Linkin Park in 2008. That was like my first ever like arena show that I went to. Eric Party's hard. Eric Party's hard after the tour is done. When the tour is going on, like I had experiences play like going to play the next gig hangoverish. Don't want to do that again. It is absolutely not fun. Like it's fun during the night, but it's not fun during the morning. And when you're like going in the car like this, can I just lay down, please? Can we stop the car, like get I don't know a couch out of somewhere, and I will sleep there. So
So,
yes,
well, I'm gathering that was a lesson learned over many nights.
yeah. But at the last day of the tour, oh my god, crazy things usually happen
Yeah. So,
all the time.
So I'm just
But
leaving.
yeah, coming back to your question, so yeah, obviously Linkin Park was like one of the since like I've been a fan of the band since pretty much childhood, and like to see them actually live was like holy shit. And like I came to the venue like 5 hours before the gig to actually get to the first rows, and there was one moment when I actually regretted this decision because during a place for my head, the Mike decided to go into the crowd, and he was literally like standing well like 50 centimeters in front of me, and then I'm feeling like little girls with fucking claws instead of nails trying to go up my back to reach him. I was like, ow, ow, that
Yeah.
fucking hurt. Like literally, like good thing I was with my wife at that show because otherwise I would probably have some troubles explaining to her why my back is scratched with female nails.
Oh, that would have been a hard one to explain.
Yeah, but
Oh,
yeah, luckily she was right there next to me because yeah,
oh.
otherwise I could be in trouble. Like, yeah, honey, I was at the gig and the girls were trying to reach the lead singer of the band. Yeah, sounds very realistic, doesn't it?
I know, right?
Believe me, I'm not lying. What do you mean? It was the actual thing.
Uh,
You're welcome, good.
oh wow, scary little girls. Jesus Christ, that's the first time I've heard that. Um, I just read some other questions and
Yeah.
stuff. We got one from Lucky who says, if you could pick a band that you'd love to collaborate with, any band, who would it be?
Mm, Definitely Parkway Drive. It's like literally one of my all-time favorite bands. And like when I got to meet them after their gig, that was like literally like, holy shit, I'm actually studying and talking to them. And probably the most amazing that like I, I usually like all the like famous musicians that I met, they were like all pretty humble,
Mm,
but like with them, even though they were not as big because I've seen them, it was 2015, I think. I think it was right before the release of Ire. And so like literally like we waited about an hour for them after the gig. So
yeah,
then their guitars, so like they were like taking showers because they were obviously they were playing Black Friday that I was talking about previously. So yeah, so like they were like taking showers, getting food, all that stuff. Then like Jeff, their guitarist, went out and stayed like talking to us around 20 minutes, like sharing his experience about the gig, telling like about the upcoming album. That also like a very funny story that I think I told it a couple of times. So like we're talking to Jeff, then Jaya, their bassist, he comes by. We're like, obviously, like, can we take a picture? Like, yeah, sure. Like, guys, do you want some beer? We're like, yes, sure, why not? Yeah, give me a second. He goes into the tour bus. He basically, like, disappears there, goes out, gives us the beers. Like, the girls that were with us asked for some water. He brought them some water. We're like, thank you. We're like, no problem. Now we can take some pics. Like, literally, absolutely, like we know him for ages.
yeah,
So that was quite surprising. And like later, like the rest of the guys went out, like we're taking pictures, and like literally when I told Winston, their lead singer, that he was like one of my like he is and he was one of my main influences to actually start like singing myself. Like he literally he was so humbled. He like wow, like thank you, dude, thank you so much, etc. etc. Like like he genuinely looked touched.
yeah.
Like yeah, so that was also pretty amazing.
Oh, nice. So that sounds like an amazing story. It's always nice when to meet your heroes and be them be well, just amazing human beings as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's like before the gig we actually met to I think yeah Winston and Jeff. They were like we were all already like hanging out because like they were yeah they toured with Chelsea Green at that point. So we see them going out like we're in line to get into the venue. So they're like going out somewhere. We're like, oh, hey, can we get pictures? Like, You like basically like, guys, we're going to play some golf. Please, let's get some like take some pictures after the gig. Okay, you're like, we'll go out to the audience, we'll take some pictures, like talking shit. You're like, yeah, sure, why not? Like literally, like so friendly. So yeah, that was pretty amazing.
Oh man. So I mean, I like I said, I haven't never spoken to the guys, but I've seen Parkway Drive a few times live, and it's just an awesome
We were
experience.
actually supposed to share the stage with them on a festival in 2018, and you can't imagine how much I was looking forward to that. But due to some plane ticket shit, they actually didn't like they weren't able to come.
Oh
Like
no.
I was like, dude, I was like literally. I was so much looking forward to that. Like we literally stayed, like they were headlining the second day. We played
Mm.
on the first one.
Yeah.
We literally stayed for that second day just to see them live because I was like really I will be able to see them from like side stage, like I got to see like you probably know Lacuna Coil.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like I got to see them from side stage because they were headlining
Christina
the
Scrabia
second
was
day.
like one of my childhood crushes. I think she was
Oh
for
yeah,
everybody. To be fair.
yeah, she's amazing. And like and as a human being as well, like after the show, like we took some pictures, talked a little bit,
Yeah.
like it was obviously a little bit easier because like I had the artist pass, so like I was just hanging out backstage, even though they had like a separate tent. Like we didn't had a tent at all. We were just, we basically we brought our own tents when we were sleeping in those tents during the festival, but like not in the in the backstage area, but they were like in the as we call it like tent city where all the visitors of the festival are actually sleeping.
Yeah. That's it,
So yeah,
man.
but yeah, that was also pretty amazing. Like I said, so probably all the big bands I met so far, they were like really like humble human beings. Like they that's basically what I was always saying, that the fact that you're a musician or like big musician, small musician, whatever, it doesn't mean that you have a right to look down on like other people, like, oh my god, I'm a rock star,
Yeah.
give me all that shit. Like you become a rock star thanks to fucking people.
Yeah.
Not like fucking people, but thanks to the fucking people.
Yeah. Is there anybody that like you've been with, like, big or small, that somebody you've met that's had that personality, and you just think, oh my
Mm,
god, what a knob.
nope, not yet.
Not yet.
No, hopefully I will not. But hello Anna, how's it going?
So I got another question. He goes, "What would you be doing right now? Obviously, if you weren't, if you didn't have a music career, what would you
Good
like to do?"
question. Probably like I don't know. If I wouldn't actually be forced to leave football, that would be football.
Hmm.
Because like I've been playing football since I was like 4, I think.
Yeah. So, well, what stopped you from playing football? You said your injuries. Was it just growth, or a few hammy
Mm,
problems, or?
I had two pretty serious brain concussions. So basically, my mom was like, "Nothing you should stop, son, before you become an even more idiot than you already are."
So that makes sense. Like, how close were you to
Yeah.
like making it as a footballer, or is it just a like?
Well, I got called to basically like the Latvian national team, but
Hmm.
like my age,
Yeah,
it was under 13 or under 14. So basically, I did one training with them.
yeah. Ah, so
Like I
you were
haven't played in official games, but so like I was basically just called up for a training. But like who knows where would it lead afterwards?
exactly, man, exactly. So
But yeah, but at that time, like I was training for the best like Latvian football club
yeah,
that actually I think it no longer exists anymore.
so yeah. Oh, that's sad. So I got another question that says, "What made you start streaming on Twitch?"
Well, I started streaming, so basically I was streaming games way before I started streaming music.
Mm.
So basically at that point in it was 2018. Yeah, it was 2018. I had an appendix surgery.
Oof.
So I was basically laying down at home with three holes in my stomach, and I was like, okay, I'm bored. What should I do? So a little bit before that, I was like actually like slowly starting to stream. Like I like my first ever stream. I was playing Fortnite with Nick Nocturnal and Batis from Betraying the Martyrs.
Yeah,
They're like good friends of mine. So then like I
that's
played
not
Destiny
bad
with
company, that is
Nocturne.
it? Really, for you
Yeah,
to be playing
absolutely.
Fortnite.
Yeah, like I've been the mod for Nick in the past.
Yeah. So, oh, that's awesome.
So kind of got to know him before like he blew up actually and became like as popular as he is now. Like now he has no time for playing games at all. He's basically grinding, grinding, and grinding.
Yeah.
Yeah, but back then like we were basically having gaming nights every once in a while. So
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
so and I was like kind of slowly starting to get into like the streaming thing. Yeah, I wanted to do it back in 2016. Like I even bought a capture card, but I don't remember why I actually like stopped doing that. Like I didn't start streaming on a regular basis. And I wasn't like really streaming on a regular basis until that appendix surgery. So I was like, okay, maybe I can already sit down. I no longer need to lay in bed anymore. So I was like, okay, maybe I can start streaming. Like try to like develop a schedule. Since like I'm still at home. I
Yeah.
was working at home as well at that point. So like I was spending all the time at home. Like, okay, well, let's start this out. So yeah, I started streaming games. Then I slowly started like I got introduced to Rocksmith. I started like learning how to play Rocksmith,
Mm.
and then basically like yeah, I think only in 2020 I switched to Rocksmith. Like I started, I made a second channel for games where I still stream games every once in a while, but like on my main channel, I switched completely. Oh, speaking of people introduced me to Rocksmith, Mr. Ulfgar was the person who actually is responsible for me starting to play Rocksmith.
High praise there for Mr.
Yeah,
Ofgar.
so big props to him for that.
So, um,
And he is actually an ex-guitarist of Blind Memory as well, from
nice.
our very, very first lineup. And like, remember I said about we had a couple songs that were not written by me. One of the songs that we were playing was actually written by him. I
Oh,
just messed with the structure a little bit, but like the riffage was done by Mr. Rugar.
nice. I'll have to get Ugal on here for for an interview so we can take all the credit.
Yeah, yeah, you should definitely. I would love to see. I don't think I ever said Ulgar in an interview, so that would be a fun experience.
Oh yeah, if you're up for it, my man, let me
That's for
know.
sure.
Seriously, DM me after. The more the merrier. um, so we got a couple of more questions. It goes, obviously, what's your hobbies outside of Twitch and music? Is there anything else that you seriously
Video
into?
games, obviously, since fucking childhood. Since I was 4 as well, I've been playing video games. Like still when there was like DOS games and all that stuff, even before Windows.
Yeah. What's some of your like favorite games or favorite franchises that you love to play?
FIFA, FIFA, obviously, FIFA, NHL, like all kinds of shooter games.
Yeah. So
Never
me.
really played shooters competitively, but like mostly single player, all that stuff.
So although that's gonna be my next video, isn't it? Hockey streamer beats lead singer 5-0 on FIFA. You know.
I'm ready. I hope you have a PS4.
um. I should do. We should do. I do that. I'll totally do that. We'll have to stream that. I've picked myself up
Oh
now.
yeah.
I'll get creamed. Oh no.
Well, I've been playing I think this is the first year when I actually started playing FIFA competitively.
Mm.
So I've already hit people with the best you got, babe.
It's a challenge. I accept that challenge. So, here's a question for you: if you were a fruit, what would you be and why?
That is an interesting question. I don't think I ever got asked that during an interview. I don't know. An apple.
An apple.
Wanna know why?
Go on.
Remember that video? Hey, hey, apple. Hey, apple. So this is the first thing that came into my mind. I'm gonna be an apple.
Oh, no, I love it. I love it. Oh, here's a good one as well. If you have the bucket list of venues you'd love to play, where are the venues that you choose?
Hmm. Only venues or festivals
That could be
as well?
festivals, countries that maybe you've not been to that you'd like to go to one day.
Well, I would obviously love to play Brixton Academy because I've
Nice.
watched so many of my favorite bands play there. Then, if we talk about festivals, I don't know, Wacken, absolutely Wacken, or Rock and Ring, basically any festival in Germany, because in my opinion, Germany has the best metal festivals in the world,
Hell yeah.
hands down, absolutely.
I totally agree with that. To be fair, yeah,
Besides that,
I got a good question in a minute, but go on, continue. Beside that,
besides that, what? Well, I think Wembley is got out of the question nowadays regarding playing gigs. But
well,
yeah, well, obviously, oh yeah, Madison Square Garden in US.
oh yeah, that's a
That, that would,
iconic place.
yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
So that is pretty cool. I got a good question from Jens here actually, which is actually pretty decent. He goes, "Where
Mhm.
do you see the music industry going with everything that's being available online? Will it be more individual without the influence of record or management companies, or will these companies still have a say? Is it harder to get noticed with all the new music and new artists out there now?"
Well, first speaking about companies, nowadays it is way easier to get exposure, even though there are like a ton of bands. But back in 2010 when we started, YouTube wasn't that much of a thing. So right now, basically, if you get your video, you release a music video, if it's decent, the music is decent,
Mm,
and and it has like a hook or something,
yeah,
basically that would attract people attention. You can you can throw it out and it can blow up. Like back in the days, it wasn't really possible because we had MySpace. That was pretty much it. We had MySpace.
my my
I think
MySpace and dial-up internet.
yeah, I think we still have a page on MySpace, even though what we haven't updated in ages. I don't even remember the password to it anymore. So basically, but still, despite the exposure you can get on the internet, you still well, okay, live shows are not a thing right now, but they were pretty much always the live shows. That's how you build your fan base,
Yeah,
and I don't think that will ever change because watching a video is fun, but seeing a band actually play live, yeah, that's basically what the fellow Swedish Eric says. Live is the best.
yeah,
Yeah, live is essential because if I like the band, the video or Spotify, which Spotify is pretty much became the big thing, even though it was actually like I remember, like I don't know if you've seen a lot of people were mentioning lately that like Spotify needs to finally start paying normal royalties to musicians because like the amount you're getting so far, that's basically
Nothing.
nothing.
Basically
Yeah,
nothing. Yeah. It's yeah. No, it does
it's
suck in it.
basically nothing. Like I think over the time, actually, like no shit, if I remember the password, I can even check how much we got. So probably I think if we got like maybe $10 from our Spotify, that would be pretty nice.
Oh
But,
Jesus.
but I'm pretty sure there would be less. I'm pretty sure there would be less.
Oh man, that's
So
horrendous.
it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. What was talking about music videos? Like you said about senior bands. Obviously, you've got quite a few out there now. Which is your favorite one? Which
Yeah.
was like your favorite one to film, and which one was your favorite one just to sit down and watch sometimes?
Well, it's actually an interesting question. So like I've edited two of our music videos, so like it like I don't ever want to do it again. First and foremost, never again. So in terms that I didn't had to do it, probably the video for Word of Lies
Mm.
was like the most fun because like we just filmed the video and I'm like I'm fine. I don't have to do shit anymore because like for if we for example look at the video for Insane where I literally had to sit down for hours, look through the footage from I don't remember how many cameras we had there, probably three or four, and think and like and edit, 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 edit. Nah, like there. This is like another proof that I made to myself that there are people that should be playing music. And there are people that should be editing videos, and everybody should be paid accordingly because
Yeah.
like it's a lot of job both of that stuff and like they coexist and they cannot exist without each other.
Mm. I like that, man. I like that you give a mention to the editors in the world as well. They definitely
Yeah,
need
absolutely. Like
more love.
that's basically like a lot of not even editors but like all the people behind the scenes. We'll talk about it, Aaron.
she
I
wants
guess
a she
paying
wants
with
a
my
raise.
unconditional love is not enough anymore. I see.
So we got one from Lucky as well. I just seen in chat. Mitch wants to know what shampoo Eric uses.
I have no fucking clue how it is called, and I'm too lazy to go to the bathroom. Like, my wife is a hairdresser. So basically, she's like, you use this one now. I'm like, okay. I don't like, I don't even need to think about it. I'm like, honey, like, I need a new shampoo. Here, take it. Okay, thank you.
So I like
Easy
that.
as this.
She's looking after you. That's all that matters.
Lucky's calling you out as well, Neon.
So, oh no. While on the subject, I want to raise later. God, look what you've started now. Jesus, I'm gonna have a union on my hands. um, I've got another question here from Heavy as well. He goes, if there was a band that you would fill as a guest vocalist, if given the opportunity, which one would it be?
I can, like, honestly, I can pretty much say any because I just love collaborating with people. So like I don't even have like a specific band, like any band that would invite me to collaborate. Like I'm always down for that stuff.
Yeah, nice. I like that answer.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So,
Like my main problem now is that I don't have a place where to record vocals, but that's another thing.
I don't know if Heavy also asks, would you someday love to have a signature guitar or bass model?
Absolutely, why not? Like, what musician would like say no to that? I don't think anybody would.
So, on the subject though,
Absolutely.
what is your favorite like brand to use for guitars and stuff?
Well, I'm mostly using Ibanez. So probably I can say Ibanez and Schecters are probably my favorite brands.
Yeah.
Even though I don't have a single Schecter, but like I used to play one Schecter guitar for a while, and it was absolutely amazing. So yeah, Ibanez and Schecter, 100%.
Oh, nice.
Getting a signature with one of those, that would be just a fucking dream come true.
So, Heavy also asks, do you have any music that you enjoy that people wouldn't expect you to listen to? Now, I know you said you mentioned rap before, but is there any other genres that you dabble in outside of that?
I listen to pretty much anything from pop to deathcore. Like, I'm pretty open minded when it comes to that. Like, as long as the music has like, a catchy melody and meaning,
Mm.
that's like enough for me. Like, I love Maroon 5 a lot. I listen to like quite a lot of tracks from Lady Gaga that like made me like, what? Oh, what are you saying? Electronic dance music. I actually don't like opposite to what we play. I don't listen to that much electronic dance music.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Mr. Good has one as well. He goes, I have a question. After all these years of experience, what advice would Eric give to the people who were just starting a band?
That is a good question. Well, pretty like, first and foremost, figure out why you like want to do it. Do you want to do music for the love of music, or like, for like the sake of getting famous, getting paid? If for the sake of getting famous, getting paid, just go get the fuck out like immediately. Absolutely. Because like, and you need to be, I don't know if stubborn is an appropriate word here, but basically you need to like, follow your goals no matter what. Like, with all the ups and downs that will be along the way. And like, obviously like, practice like, practice your instrument, practice your songwriting. Practice makes perfect. There is a saying like this for a reason. And
Yeah.
have fun. Yes, without having fun, that is like, if you're not having fun, why are you even doing this? Like, that's probably like one of the reasons why we switched from melodic metalcore to electronicore, because
Mm.
back before we went on a hiatus in 2015, like, I was trying to convince my bandmates at that time to actually like, start incorporating more electronic elements into our music for quite a while. They're like, nah, why would we do that? So like,
Mm.
they were pretty strictly against it. Like I somehow managed to make a electronic based intro on the EP that we released in 2013, and that was pretty much it. And like basically when we reformed again in 2017, I was like already like I wrote quite a lot of songs during those 2 years that we
Mm.
were not like actively like we're not being active as a band. Actually, funny thing, despite being on the hiatus, we played at least one show during all those like both of those 2 years on our anniversaries.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I like the thought of that. Like even when on hiatus, you still play. That's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever heard of a band doing that, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that wasn't really play like planned, but like there was one time I think. So yeah, in 2000. So yeah, we played our gig, like last gig in 2000 in March 2015.
Mm.
Then in January 2016, I was organizing a show. I had a booking agency at that point,
Yeah.
and so yeah, so like. Actually, Misha, our current guitarist that like goes on a break right now, he was playing in a like he was playing with us before, then he left and like new people came in. So at that point in 2016, he was playing in another band that was actually participating in this event. And since our like band anniversary is in January, it was actually like just on not that long ago on January 9th.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So I was like, okay, maybe I think. that's basically it. All started as a joke. So like, yeah, maybe we should play a gig as well. And like and then we kind of started talking in the band chat when we basically haven't talked for like almost a year. So like, yeah, sure, why the fuck not? So I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. I'm down. So like, we started rehearsing, like we have rehearsed together for a while, and then we played that gig, and then we also like in February we played a gig in Estonia as well. That wasn't really planned to. We were just like, yeah, sure, let's go. Why not?
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, like we played those two gigs and basically like went our separate ways again.
Uh,
Yeah, and then in 17 we basically reformed already
yeah. Oh, nice.
with the new genre.
Like I said, I really like that. I like the fact that the evolution of your music, obviously, like you said, from metalcore to electronics and stuff like that, and always constantly evolving and stuff like that. I like the thought
Yeah.
about that. Does it get harder with age now to play? Obviously, probably since the time you first started the band, you've got obviously a lovely woman by your side, kids now, and a lovely dog. Does it make it harder sometimes to pull away from that to go and play shows, or does the court, or is it?
Well, it's getting a little bit harder now to basically organize and plan everything, like, because like, there are more responsibilities now.
Yeah.
But still, like, everything is possible. Like, my wife who knows what my music means to me and how much I love playing gigs, and like she goes to our gigs as well, even though she's not really listening to this type of music. She's like basically going there just to support me.
Everybody in chat's just like, oh,
Yeah.
Neon's calling him old. That is not what I was saying at
Oof,
all.
oof. Oh my God, I'm just speechless.
So if you want anybody to say there's old, like literally, I'm in the screen next to you, so don't worry, you look good.
Exclamation mark Ben Skynat.
But that's great, man. I love the fact that obviously she comes and supports you and stuff like that. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
like one thing I'm really looking forward is to actually taking my kid to a gig because he's never been to any of my gigs yet. Like because obviously he was too small for it back in the days.
yeah,
And, like
man.
last yeah in 2000 in 2020 he was 4. Well, he technically could, but still with all the COVID around, that
Mm.
wouldn't take him to a gig anyway. But like right now, it would actually be fun. Like I don't know if he would enjoy it, but it's worth a try at least.
Yeah, I'm sure that will be
At
an
least worth a
experience.
try. Yeah,
Uh,
well, I think it will be even more fun for me than for him.
I'm sure he'd love it. Like that's a memory, though, isn't it? Like you'll like
Yeah,
as a kid,
definitely.
you'll always remember that.
Like,
Um,
he sometimes goes like when I'm watching a video, like, Dad, are you there? I'm like, no, I'm watching another band. Like, where are you? Like, here, I'm just watching a video. He's like, okay.
so, whilst being on like tour or playing a show, is like, has there been like any oopsies from the band? Like have you been in the mid of the gig or mid song, and then thought, oh fuck, I've just played the verse twice or missed a bit or anything like that?
Well, probably the most recent one I remember when we played in Lithuania. When was it? I think was it also in 2018? We were playing the last song, and like over the last song, there is a part where basically it's an electronic, like an interlude in the middle of the song, something like this. There's
Yeah.
actually a video on YouTube. I could send you a link after, or like I don't know, maybe if you want to show it right now.
Hell
So
yeah, yeah. Send
basically,
send send the link. We'll play it.
give me a sec. Blinded memory Vilnius. So basically, at that part, we are actually like engaging the audience. We start a wall of death. At that point, it's at the very end, and basically our we have backing tracks,
Mm.
and this is played by the backing track, and suddenly our laptops switches off, and we're like, and I'm literally about to start engaging, like, well, I guess that's the end of the show. Thank you everybody for coming.
All right, let's
Yeah,
roll.
that was kind of abrupted. So it would be, yeah, by the so around 42 minutes.
Around 22 minutes.
42.
42. Oh, 42.
42.
Yep, there we
Yeah.
go. Let's do it right at the end.
This is
Yeah, so
your
now just
last
wait for it.
chance to use your energy. Thank you guys once again. We are Blind in Memory from Riga, Latvia. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having us. What the fuck?
And then it goes off.
Well, I guess this is it, my friends. Thank you. We are Blind in Memory. See you guys again sometime. Thank you. See ya.
Yeah, so they were like, oh well, because restarting was kind of meh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So.
this is probably like like a pretty memorable blooper. So you're like, okay, well, last song. So like we basically have like 40 there's basically like a breakdown that's supposed to go after this part, like a fast part for a wall of death, and the breakdown.
Yeah.
That laptop should be fired. The thing is, someone fucking unplugged it from the electricity socket. So
Oh
basically, the
no.
battery died. So like, oh my god, we've been sabotaged. What the fuck? We've been fucking sabotaged.
Oh bloody hell! How long did it take you guys to notice, or did it just die just dead at the end?
Whoa, did like you see how we noticed? this, this is how we noticed when it just basically stopped.
I love it. I love it. So I always like
Yeah,
fuck ups
so
like that. They're
this is
good
like
stories.
probably one of the most memorable blooper that I can even remember, and it's on YouTube. Thank you very much to the person who uploaded it. But yeah, but that was actually the full gig out there.
So, oh man. Has there been any other like instances like on tour or anything like that? Has like any of you guys been injured during a show or something like that?
Hmm, injured? I don't really remember. Well, like I kind of, twisted my leg a little bit once when I was jumping down from a monitor. But I don't remember if it was a tour or it was a weekender, to be honest.
Yeah. So just one of those in the moment things.
Yes, but I remember how much it was hurting in the morning. There was there was a different thing basically when we were playing a gig in our hometown. That was just one show,
Hmm.
but basically that was like probably one of the most hardest shows I've ever played. So the thing is, it was July. It was hot as fuck. It was probably around 30 degrees. And inside the venue, it was even hotter.
Oh
And
no.
and when you were on stage, all the stage lights are basically, shining on you. So it's even
Yeah.
hotter on stage. Yeah, basically like a sauna
Mm.
gig. Good. So like we're playing a song, and like I don't even know how to properly describe it. So like we're playing a song. There is like an instrument. Yeah, I think there was either an instrumental or there was a solo part, and I suddenly feel like this real like pain around my heart area that I can normally breathe.
Mm.
So I was like, it hurts a lot. So luckily there was a break. So I go like during that part I drink some water. Like okay, we literally have like 2 or 3 songs left till the end of the set. I know that I don't want to stop the set because of that, but like I feel that it actually goes from my chest to my neck, so it starts to hurt to move my neck as well. So I kind of like the rest, like those the remaining of those 2 songs, I was barely headbanging because I couldn't do it normally at all.
Mm.
And after the gig, I think I wasn't even able to move my head to the left side at all.
Jesus. D-
So yeah, so that was a pretty harsh moment.
Do we
That
do?
was a pretty harsh.
Do you know what it was in the end, or was it just like a freak one-time thing?
No idea. So like it was basically, I think it hurt for a couple days, and then it was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was quite like a painful. But yeah, I blame it on the heat because it was unreally hot.
Yeah.
Like I was sweating like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you could basically like after the gig, I should just take my shirt and just pour water out of it like this.
Oh no! I bet the mosh pit in that place smelled nice that night. Oh.
Mm. Ooh,
Beer and sweat, lovely.
ooh, uh, those moments when I'm glad that I'm on stage. Like even though I can't say it smells better on stage, but at least there's a little bit less people there. A little bit less people.
So,
Yeah.
here's another question as well. Probably sort of the same as what we did before, but if you could open for any artist that you're listening to now, who would it be? If you could open a show for somebody.
Bullet, Trivium, Parkway. Like, nowadays
Mm.
you can technically open for anyone if you have the money.
Yeah,
Because, like, a lot of promoters, they're just selling support slots.
yeah. Oh, I love it.
Eskimo, yeah, absolutely. So, like,
You
if
guys
you
and
have the
Eskimo
money,
Callboy would be freaking amazing, actually, to be fair.
yeah, I would love to. Again, no bear tooth. Well, as I said, pretty much anyone. Ink, yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
Sabaton, probably not our genre, I would say, to open up for them. Like, like, but yeah, like this, the paid support slots. It's always a big question. It's basically, it can be a pretty good promotion opportunity for the band, but at the same time, is it really fair to local bands that could get the same exposure when actually a foreign band buys the slot and just flies over from a country and like nobody knows,
yeah.
like nobody knows this band, but they have the money so they can buy the slot.
Yeah. Is that something you're against? Do you prefer local bands in those instances, or do you see it from both sides?
I can accept both sides, but for example, I'm against the thing that many promoters do here. They sell those paid slots, but they are not like basically, well, not even inviting. They're not allowing local bands to participate.
Yeah,
But like, but the thing is, like, you're not losing anything if you invite, like, like any band, they will be more than happy to open for, like, a band of caliber of like Bullet for free. They will not ask any money, but they can bring in more people because they're local and, like, if they're known, especially.
yeah.
So I don't understand the logic of those promoters. Like I know some bands, like if a band has a rule, like they're bringing their own support, they are not taking locals. They're like, okay, fine, that's that's their gig, that's their rules. But when like I was actually talking, I don't remember who I was talking to. That basically they were a lot, so they wouldn't mind. Shit, I'm trying to remember what band was that. Was it We Came as Romans or was it Miss May I honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember. But they were saying so they don't mind. So like if the promoter will bring the local support band, they're absolutely down with that.
Yeah,
But like I know several local promoters, they're like, nah, like we don't need local promotion. What I was actually messaging them about, like, hey, can we play with this band? Hey, can we play with this band? Like, no, no needed, thank you.
that sucks.
Like,
Is that just like a money transaction thing? Is that just because money's swapping hands reason more than a music reason?
well, I don't know what's their logic, but they're basically they think so. Like a paid slot and the headliner is fine.
Mm.
So like they don't need any locals. But like I was actually quite surprised when were invited to support Betraying the Martyrs back in 2013. Like, really? Like, yeah, sure, I'm totally down.
That's awesome, man. Lucky's got a good question as well. One I haven't read yet is tell us a story behind the band name. How did that come to be?
Well, honestly, there's not much of a story behind that. So basically, when we just started, we had a different name, but very soon we realized that for locals, it is very hard to pronounce it because English is hard, you know. So at that point, we were called Eternal Exception, and to actually try saying eternal exception 10 times without fucking up at least once.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
So
so that was like, okay, we need a different name. What can we go for? I think I don't remember who actually offered the term blinded memory. Was it me? Was it our bassist? Yeah, I don't remember who it was, but like, blinded memory sounds good. Yeah, let's use it. Like I remember like back in the days I could I could go on around like, oh, well, blinded memory, like that's like a contradiction, the contradiction that reflects in our music, in the lyrics, like love and hate, relationships and all that stuff. But I'm like, nah, there's no real meaning behind the band name. We just liked how it sounds.
sometimes that's all it takes. That's all you need.
Yeah,
It
but
sounded
if
good.
needed, I can create a story about it, but do I really want to? Nah. You think it was me? Look, I honestly wasn't me or Sergey. I don't remember. One of us two. One of us two for sure. But I remember I was brainstorming a lot.
Yeah. I like it though. I like the name. I especially like the logo as well. All right, guys, we're gonna start winding down and stuff in a little bit. So what I will do now is, if you guys are in chat and you have any questions that you'd like to ask Eric, related to like music or Twitch or anything else, now's the time to do it.
Shoot,
To get your questions in.
shoot, ladies and gentlemen.
So shoot,
Ask me anything.
ask you anything. So there's no restrictions. Let it rip. um, you like the logo? We have T-shirts with it on. I know the logo is really, really, really cool. Uh, Tighty whiters or boxers?
Boxers, any time of the day. It's
People,
basically gotta be a blitz now.
it's gonna be a blitz. Orange juice or
Yeah.
apple juice? These are the serious questions. This is the real deal now.
Apple juice, absolutely. Like I said on Apple before, what do you expect me to say now, Heavy? Of course it's apple juice.
Cats or dogs?
Can't really choose, but probably since I've been with cats for most of my life, I'd say cats.
Ooh, Scotch or bourbon?
Probably bourbon.
Boobs or ass?
Both. Can't choose here. I'm sorry. Can't choose.
Eric says, does pineapple go on pizza?
That's a very provocative question. Ham goes on pizza. This is all I need.
So that's no to pineapple then.
Not a fan.
No, no,
Absolutely
that's
not a
fine.
fan. If you enjoy pineapple, feel free, but no. I'm not gonna be Attila.
Lucky said, Skynet asked, are you going to ever want to teach Max how to play guitar?
If he will be interested, yes, but I'm never gonna enforce any of the things that I'm into on him
So, yeah, I like that.
because I honestly feel it's wrong. Well, like I can offer him if he wants to. Sure, I will teach him. If he doesn't, that's fine by me.
Yeah. Salt popcorn or sweet popcorn?
Sweet any time of the day. Absolutely.
So, kebab or burger?
Burger.
Burger. Oh,
Uh,
love it.
yes, we love me some burgers. Even though when we were in Finland, we visited a pretty nice kebab joint where for €5 there was like king size kebab, like probably like literally like this.
So, uh,
Yes, I have no idea. Well, now I know.
would you ever be interested to make a side project outside of metal music, electronics, etc.?
I basically have a dream about starting a pop punk band since I started playing guitar.
Yeah. Oh, nice. That'd be pretty cool to see. Heavy says stick shift or automatic.
You mean manual or automatic?
Yeah, probably. I think that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, well, like I would personally go for manual.
Uh, I do.
Yeah, buddy, I drive a scooter, but an electric one. So, but like with a car, I definitely prefer manual.
So, come on, guys. Let's get some more questions. Let's do it. What's it like? Obviously for you now. Well, I'll fill in while they're going to be asking some more. But what's it like?
Hmm.
Obviously being on Twitch now, from when you started to now, because like you said before, obviously you were gaming in God of War and you had like 0 viewers.
Yeah.
And now you have like 100 people plus sometimes, like just watching you play guitar and music and stuff like that. Like, is that insane to you, or where would you like to take your Twitch channel like next?
Well, that's amazing. Like I'm still quite speechless sometimes when I realize that like back in April to 2020, I had like 500 followers, and now we just hit 4K.
Mm.
So yeah, so like that is pretty crazy. But like I don't, you know, I don't really have that much like plans what I want to reach. So basically, just swim along to the flow and see where it will take me. Like, of course, like yeah, like hitting partner one day that would be nice, but like if I won't, I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna like go to the corner and cry or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh,
but like I can honestly say I'm pretty proud of what we were able to achieve right now, and I'm saying we specifically because I don't separate myself from the community because like all the things that I am able to achieve is because there are people that are that is like some people I never actually expected that I would make so many friends that like many of them are like closer to me than many people that I know ERL. So
yeah.
I never really expected that. Like I was hoping, but I never really expected. And it's it's mind blowing. It was and it always will be. I think.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, man.
So definitely, yeah, I'm definitely proud of what we're achieving. And but that's that's one thing that I'm always saying. Like whether it's streaming or music stuff streamer is nothing without the viewers, same way as the band is nothing without the fans.
Yeah.
So, and it actually pisses me off sometimes when people actually forget that and start being like all cocky and like, oh my god, I'm so awesome. I made this like, platinum record and now I'm earning monies and you are shit because you don't have that.
Yeah,
I'm like,
no.
dude, you wouldn't have 80 of that shit if not for the people. So shut the fuck up.
I love it. I love it. Um, how much do you hate the chat when they ruin lyrics?
I'm used to that, Aaron. I'm used to that. I'm fucking used to that. Sadly.
So Black
But I
says
am.
you are awesome though.
No. You're breathtaking.
Question from Mitch: will Eric ever produce other artists?
Well, define producing because when I had a booking agency, we had certain like bands in our roster that were like helping like to book gigs and stuff, or you mean like to actually like produce like help writing records and all that stuff. So yeah, that question requires a little bit more definition. What exactly do you mean, Mr. Mitch?
Uh, producing like produce music. So maybe like
Produce music? I don't honestly think that I'm qualified enough for that, to be honest. Like I can help, like, give hints on like, how to like build the structure and all that stuff. But like, I would love, like, I always love to help. I'm always down to help whoever needs that. I would never refuse because like there were so many people helping me when I was like, just at the beginning of my way. So I kind of feel like, it's like the natural way of things. Like, when you're a beginner, like I was lucky enough to have people that helped me. Now that I have a little bit of experience, I'm like I'm more than down to share my experience with anybody who would need that. But I actually learned a lesson that I will never actually offer like my experience unless I'm asked to, because like I tried helping a few friends back in the days, basically with like with advices, because they had like were like also just starting their way in music, and they were later being like, oh my god, what the fuck does this dude thinks about himself? Like he doesn't know shit, but he is like offering us some advices. We don't need your fucking advices. And like all this talk behind my back that like I accidentally found out like, well, okay, so probably some people are not that appreciative. Well, like I had no intention but to help, but they're
yeah.
like, oh my god, what does he think? To like, take the crown off your head, you douchebag. Okay, fine, well, fuck you too.
Lucky asks, would you ever write songs for other bands?
That is a good question. Whoa. Like, specifically, like I could help, but specifically writing from scratch, I don't. I honestly never thought about that. Like, if anybody would ask me for help with writing a record, I would be like more than glad to help. But yeah, honestly, never thought about like being Adam from Killswitch who actually like produces a shitload of bands. That's a pretty awesome record as well.
Mm. Oh yeah, I like it. Oh, I
But yeah,
got.
trying suggestions like keyboard or try the guitar riff this way. So yeah, like I could do that, but like nobody ever asked me to do anything like this. So I can even like maybe someday, but for now I never like received offers like this.
But something you'd be willing to do, maybe if somebody offered.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always down to such stuff, 100%. Like as I said, like I'm open to any kind of collaborations, and I
Nice,
guess that can be called a collaboration, pretty much.
nice. I like the sound of that. All right, guys, we're gonna wind down now. It's been awesome. So, and Eric, my dude, thank you so much for coming on to the show, man.
Thank
Talking
you for
about
inviting me. It's been a lot of fun.
yeah, man. I love some of the answers you've given as well. Mad respect as well. Like, I love the fact that you're so open, helping everybody so much, and just an all round absolutely cool guy. For those that are in
Thank you,
chat,
sir.
for those that are in chat right now, we've got some links to obviously the blinded memory stuff. Make sure you go and check them out as well. If you're watching this on YouTube and you've made it so far to the interview, thank you so much, obviously, for staying here. Leave a like, subscribe, all that crap. I really appreciate it. I will also leave a link in the description down below with all the blinded memory stuff, all the Eric stuff, his Twitch channel. If you think he's an awesome dude, because he really is, go and check him out. Go and
Thank you, sir.
subscribe and go check this man out because he very much deserves it. So thanks to everybody else in chat as well for coming and hanging out and being awesome. I really
Thank you,
appreciate
ladies
it.
and gentlemen. You all take care. Stay healthy. Stay hydrated. Stay metal. Yeah. Much love and bye bye.
Bye bye, guys. Take
I
care.
see you on the Twitches.